This week on Flix Freaks, we review Lost Girls, starring Amy Ryan, Gabriel Byrne, Lola Kirke, and Thomasin McKenzie. Directed by Liz Garbus. Determined to find her missing daughter, a desperate woman launches a personal investigation that leads police to the unsolved cases of murdered sex workers. Hello, I'm Brian Donovan of Flix Freaks, and today's movie review is The Lost Girls. So this movie takes place in 2010. It's based around the true events of the Long Island serial killer. It follows Marie Gilbert, who is the mother of one of the victims, Shannon Gilbert. And the story is basically about, there's a mom, she's a single mom, she has a few kids, which in the movie they actually only talk about 3 of the kids, when in reality I think she actually had like 4 or 5 kids in real life. But they only talk about 3 of the kids. She has an estranged relationship with one of her daughters, Shannon, who apparently is a working girl. She's an escort or a prostitute, whatever you want to call her. And she ends up missing one day. The mother starts to become suspicious, so she starts trying to figure things out. She starts to hunt things down. There's this 911 phone call that actually gets reported, and that's kind of what sets everything off. But the thing of it is the police aren't really too keen on finding out what's happened. It's like they've done some investigating and they've asked some questions, but there just seems to be a lot of holes in their investigation. And so the mom, Marie, takes it upon herself to start investigating her daughter's disappearance on her own. So she starts questioning the boyfriend. She starts questioning the driver. She was supposed to go to a client's house, I guess, and she questions the driver that took her there. She questions the client. She starts uncovering that apparently this is a thing. So not only does Marie's daughter, Shannon, go missing, apparently this happens to like 10 other girls. So there's a whole bunch of girls that end up finding, and majority of them are working girls. They're escorts type thing. And so she continues to really press. The police commissioner, Richard Dormer, and to get him to get on his detectives to really try to work and solve this case. So the movie starts quickly. One of the things that's nice is the pacing. It just goes. There's not a lot of buildup of character developments. There's not a lot of we need to find out what this is going on and backstory, and a lot of like worthless dialogue that really doesn't mean anything. It's kind of just filler. The movie just goes bang, 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 to where it's like, you meet the mom, and then you meet the other daughters at home that she's raising, and you figure out what's going on there. And then all of a sudden, the oldest daughter is supposed to come over for dinner or something, and she doesn't show up. So the next morning, it just starts the suspense right there on what happened to her. Why didn't she show up? And then they start calling around. They find out that there's a report that was. There was a 911 call made by her daughter that was found, and then it just starts in on the case of finding the missing girl, and then it comes in. There's other missing girls as well, and then it just moves from there. So there was no real slow points. So I really like the pacing of this and how it's just kept me going on questioning and wondering what's going to happen next and who's did it. And who knows what and what's going on? Is this a cover-up? Is there a conspiracy somehow? Is this going on? Is this going on? So the pacing was actually really nice. The mom is actually not very likable. Like I said, she's very tenacious. She's very aggressive in her search, and it's understandable from the parental standpoint. But even outside of that, when you first get introduced in the first 5 to 10 minutes, she's just a jerk, to be honest. And whether she's like that in real life, because again, this is based off of real people and real events, and whether she's like that in real life, we don't know, or if that was the filmmaker's call to make the character this way. But she's not likable. You're on her side because you want her to find her daughter, obviously, but she's not likable. The way that she kind of treats her other 2 daughters, she's putting the missing daughter as a priority, and it almost seems that the missing daughter was always a priority. where the other two daughters are kind of just like filling in the gaps for time and such like that. I felt sorry for the other two daughters because the mom just had like, she never seemed to have an interest or a care. She comes home almost every night and she's constantly watching, I guess, a talent show that the older daughter was in back when she was like 10 or 11 or something like that. But she pays no attention to the other two daughters who are right there on a daily basis, even though she has this estranged relationship with the older daughter. Amy Ryan plays Mary Gilbert, and she did a fantastic job. Gabriel Byrne plays Commissioner Richard Dormer. He's a fantastic actor, obviously. He's selling his part. The performances by the actors were actually really good. I'll be honest, the only one that was a little bit like seemed uncomfortable was Thomasin McKenzie, who played Sherry Gilbert, the next middle child who's really attached to her older sister Shannon and really wants to help the mom find her and everything like that. It's just something about, for me personally, there was just something about the delivery of her lines that just felt very forced and uncomfortable. The emotion just didn't seem like it was there. It just felt like it was reading lines or something like that. But that's my opinion. But overall, I felt the performances were actually really good. The color grading, it really had kind of this washed out, flat color palette to it, which kept it kind of cold and a little bit miserable and depressed and somber. There's not really any happiness throughout the entire film, and the cinematography actually fell in line with that really well to help keep those emotions going. So for my rating, personally, I'm going to give this movie a thumbs up. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought the suspense kept throughout the movie was nice. Again, I couldn't connect with the Mary Gilbert's character a lot because she kind of is a jerk. She was portrayed as a jerk by Amy Ryan, but she did a good job. She's very aggressive. If you guys have ever been to Boston or Massachusetts, she had that tough East Coast Boston attitude, so she was very tenacious. And overall, the movie was actually really good, and I enjoyed it. So again, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching Flix Freaks. Join us again next week when we review another Netflix original film.